Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex. The show where we bring important unstarred questions asked by the members of the upper house and the response given by the government. I'm KRITI, MISHRA, and joining me is my colleague RAJAT, KAIN.
Well, thanks KRITI and thanks to your viewers for watching this edition of Question Hour. Now, Question Hour is an important tool of parliamentary democracy whereby members of the House gets to ask questions from the government. Broadly speaking, there are three categories of question: starred, unstarred and the short notice ones.
And our show focuses on all the important unstarred questions asked by the members of the upper house, and of course in this edition we'll get you all the important questions asked during the first half of the budget session of Parliament or the first half of the 253rd session of the Rajya Sabha.
Well, how these questions are answered, how they end up on the ministry's table once they are written by the members, and how they replied on the floor of the House either in a written form or orally. Here is a small presentation. A member submits his or her questions at least 15 days before the office of Rajya Sabha chairman. The Rajya Sabha Secretariat chooses the questions to be answered through a draw of ballots. Separate ballots are held for starred and unstarred questions. The questions are scrutinized for admissibility under the current rules and precedents. Questions are disallowed if they are not in order. Advance copies of chosen questions are sent to ministry or departments concerned. The ministry concerns collect information to prepare the reply. The minister concerned reply to starred questions on the floor of the House and provides written answers to unstarred questions. Up to 160 unstarred questions are listed every day in a separate list.
So that was the presentation for our viewers. Now Rajat, let's begin the show. And the first question in this edition of the Question Hour show is from MP Bhagwat, and this question is to the Ministry of Tourism. And the member has asked the government whether it has any specific plans to promote Indian culture abroad.
Well, it's an important question, KRITI, and reply has been given by Minister of State for Tourism and Culture, Prahlad Singh Patel. Well, the ministry has been taking several steps and initiative in the endeavour of taking forward or giving glimpse of Indian culture in several countries at the international level. In the reply, the ministry says that the ministry promotes India as holistic destination in the overseas markets by showcasing India's rich cultural heritage, including Buddhism and Hinduism. With a view to showcase and project the Buddhist heritage in India and boost tourism to Buddhist destinations in country, the ministry organizes International Buddhist Conclave, biennially with participation of leading Buddhist scholars, Buddhist monks, tour operators and opinion makers from overseas countries. The Ministry of Tourism, under its hospitality program, also invites overseas tour operators, media and opinion makers to cover major festivals. India Tourism Office in overseas markets in association with the Indian diaspora celebrate a number of Indian festivals including Diwali and Holi. The ministry undertakes promotion of tourism to India and overseas markets including countries in Southeast Asia through an integrated marketing and promotional strategy and a synergized campaign in association with the travel, trade, state governments and the UTI administrations and the Indian missions. The specific elements of promotional efforts undertaken overseas include advertising in print, electronic, online, outdoor and social media, participate in international travel, fairs and exhibition, organizing Know India seminars, workshops, road shows and India evenings, brochure support, joint advertising with travel agents, tour operators, organizing and supporting Indian food and cultural festivals, printing of brochures and inviting tour operators, media personalities and opinion makers to visit the country under the hospitality program of the ministry. Well, moving on to next question asked by member Banda Prakash from Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The member sought if the private and the public sector companies have increased spending on the corporate social responsibility corpus to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, and what are the details?
Well, this response has been given by MOS Corporate Affairs Anurag Thakur, and he says that according to the Companies Act 2013, all the companies are required to hold annual general meeting within 6 months from the end of the year. He goes on to say that financial statements and board report containing disclosure about corporate social responsibility are to be filed in MCA 21 within 30 days of the AGM. Thus, for the ongoing financial year, no filing has been made by CSR mandated companies. While the ministry also, via general circular, clarified that CSR funds may be spent for various activities related to COVID-19. Further, companies' CSR policy rules 2014 were amended to enable companies to undertake CSR activities in their normal course of business for undertaking research and development of new vaccine, drugs and medical devices related to COVID-19 for 3 financial years in collaboration with any of the institutes or organizations mentioned in items or Schedule 7 of the Act. Well, the next question has been asked by member P. Wilson, and this question is to the Ministry of AYUSH. And the member has asked whether the government is promoting Siddha system of medicine for combating the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, reply to this query has been given in affirmative by MOS AYUSH Kiran Rijiju. The government has promoted Siddha medicines to prevent COVID-19 across the country, including Tamil Nadu. Ministry has issued separate guidelines for practitioners and guidelines for research for providing treatment to COVID-19 patients in each system covered under AYUSH, including Siddha system of medicines. These comprehensive guidelines provide detailed instructions regarding usage of Siddha medicines for COVID-19 patients. An interdisciplinary task force was also constituted by Ministry to provide guidance to research conducted by various research councils, national institutes in COVID-19. The activities of each research council, national institute in combating COVID-19 pandemic was closely monitored by the Ministry. Ministry has also interacted with drug manufacturing industry to ensure uninterrupted supply of medicines for providing treatment to COVID-19. The Ministry has promoted the use of ready-made AYUSH formula, that is AYUSH could need, in interest of health promotion to masses. The Ministry has developed mobile app AYUSH Sanjeevani Mobile and has documented the impact assessment of effectiveness, acceptance and usage of AYUSH advisories and measures in prevention of COVID-19 through app-based population study around 1.5 crore respondents. The Ministry has invited research proposals under modified extramural research scheme for SARS-CoV-2 infection and COVID-19 disease for supporting research in Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy. The government has allocated funds under AYUSH for research studies to aid, facilitate preventive medicine against COVID-19. Ministry has sanctioned 1 crore 63 lakhs and out of that 80 lakhs to Central Council for Research in India in Siddha, rupees 50 lakh to National Institute of Siddha and 33 for projects under extramural research for various COVID-related studies and clinical trials. Central Council for Research in Siddha has undertaken 16 studies, that is 4 preclinical and 11 clinical studies with support of Ministry to assess utility and effectiveness of Siddha formulation in mitigating COVID-19 through repurposing of Siddha formulation and utilizing immune modulators in the management and treatment of COVID-19. NIS has also conducted population-based studies which include distribution of preventive medicines in 4 COVID-19 related clinical trials at Chennai. Funds were also released under modified extramural research scheme for SARS-CoV-2 infection and COVID-19 disease for 4 projects at Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh.
And joining us on the question hour show is Rajya Sabha MP Mr. P. Wilson. Sir, Bhagwat Sabha Television, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So during the first part of the 253rd session of Rajya Sabha, you'd asked a very important question about promotion of Siddha medicine for treating COVID-19 pandemic. The government has given an exhaustive reply. What is your take, sir?
This Siddha system of Indian medicine was very useful during COVID-19 time. In fact, Kabasura is a Siddha medicine which had a worldwide recognition. And during this COVID-19 time, this Kabasura Kurinir acted as an immunity. And in fact, I would say that almost 60 to 70% of the people in Tamil Nadu were depending upon this Kabasura. In fact, I myself was taking this Kabasura, which is nothing but Siddha medicinal product. And it helped us to develop the immunity, and in fact it even went to the extent of controlling this COVID-19. But in fact there are data to show that about 6,000 patients in Tamil Nadu have been treated by this Siddha medicine. So therefore my call was that how far the government is going to support this Siddha research and growth in India and worldwide.
So the government also talks about other Indian systems of medicines.
To my question, I received an answer that the government, to promote Siddha, they have set apart 1.63 crores for research and development. So I asked Honorable Minister in my supplemental question that this 1.63 crores will not be sufficient because treating a patient with English medicine in Chennai, they cost about 6 to 7 lakhs per patient. So if the cost for treating a patient is 6 to 7 lakhs for allopathic medicine, how is that this 1.63 crores is sufficient for research and development throughout India? Then the Honorable Minister replied that this sufficient amount will be set apart. If suppose this 1.63 crores is not sufficient, then certainly they would set apart more of the amount. And my other question was that there are 5 medicines, Indian medicines. You all know that Ayurveda, Unani, apart from Siddha, naturopathy and homeopathy is there. Because Siddha, it dates back to 10,000 BC, before Christ, and it was developed by Siddhas. And food is medicine and medicine is food. That is the concept. So since it has developed from Tamil Nadu, do you discriminate that this should not go worldwide? And the Honorable Minister said, no, we don't discriminate because it has come from Tamil Nadu, and certainly all steps will be taken to see that it reaches worldwide. So that was his answer in the supplemental question when I asked it. This Siddha system, as I said, is a time-tested medicine. It has been recognized in Tamil Nadu. Of course, it is now reaching all over India, and it has no side effects. It's a natural medicine out of herbs, and other whatever medicinal values that is available out of nature's products. That is only Siddha medicine. So therefore, we have to take forward to worldwide. In fact, our Honorable Prime Minister has said that India is a major pharmaceutical product supplier so far as English medicines are concerned. When you take pharmaceutical products, India is the major supplier to the world. And even during COVID-19 time also, the products were supplied. When that being so, this Siddha medicine should not stop, within Tamil Nadu. It should, spread across India and then take forward worldwide. So my, humble request would be that the government should spend a lot of money so that it is taken worldwide. And if you get a worldwide recognition, of course, people will fall in. And we have seen a lot of deaths during COVID-19 in the foreign countries. But when it comes to our part of state, certainly the control is there to a certain extent because of these medicines that is available. Whether the government has, our state government has taken steps or not, of course, the things are different. But this medicines by itself is going to be useful. Those who are going to take and consume on its own. You don't require even a prescription for that.
Lastly, sir, what is your demand or any specific suggestion that you'd like to make to the government?
No doubt, the Indian system of medicine, each one has got its own, importance and recognition is there. I'm not belittling the other medicines also. Of course, Ayurveda is also there, Unani is also there, then homeopathy is also there. what I would say is that let us concentrate. These are all medicines, Indian medicines, which has grown from India, and it is accepted and time-tested medicines, and even during COVID-19 period, it has helped us a lot. So I would say that you have to invest more of money amount into this research activities. You can encourage, of course, even you can give permission for more of such colleges coming up throughout India, simplify and allow establishment of more colleges, so that this simultaneous growth of medicine is certainly going to help us. And of course, India, as I said, is #1 in the world so far as the pharmaceutical products is concerned. Even in this also, should go worldwide, and of course, not only in terms of foreign exchange you are going to get, but also a worldwide recognition. Also, that's an important factor. That's what would be my suggestion to the government.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us and speaking to us, sir.
Well, moving on to next question that was asked by Dr. Bhagwat Karat from Ministry of Culture. The member sought details of steps taken by the government in pursuit of preserving the cultural heritage.
Well, it is a mandate of the Ministry of Culture to preserve, promote and disseminate all forms of art and culture, and there's a detailed response given by the Culture Minister Prahlad Singh Patel. He says that the objectives of the Ministry of Culture is to preserve, promote and disseminate all forms of art and culture, including integration of different cultures through various schemes. It deals with tangible and intangible cultural heritage of India. This heritage encompasses several strands, including monuments and archaeology, folk and tribal art, literature, archives, library, performing arts, including music, dance and drama, and visual arts in the form of painting, sculpture and graphics. All activities of the ministry related to promotion, preservation and conservation of the cultural heritage of the country are implemented through a network of 2 attached offices, 6 subordinate offices and 34 autonomous organizations under its control, and number of schemes directly operated by the ministry for promotion and dissemination of art and culture. Its activities, projects and programs are organized under various schemes of archaeology, museums, archives, anthropology, performing arts, public libraries, Buddhist and Tibetan institutes, centenaries and anniversaries, international cultural relations and also Gandhi Heritage Mission. And moving on to the last question of this edition of the Question Hour show, and this one is from member Vijaypal Singh Tomar, and this question is to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and the member has sought details about government's programs and targets for renewable energy in the country.
Well, the reply to this query was given by Minister for Power and New and Renewable Energy, R.K. Singh. In the reply, the ministry says that as part of intended nationally determined contributors as per the Paris Accord on Climate Change, India has made a pledge that by 2030, 40% of its installed power generation capacity shall be from non-fossil fuel resources. So far, a total of 136.95 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity, including large hydro, has been installed in the country as on 31st December 2020. This amounts to a share of 36.48% in total installed electric generation capacity in the country. The government has taken several steps to promote renewable energy across the country. Permitting foreign direct investment up to 100% under the automatic route, waiver of interstate transmission system charges and losses of interstate sale of solar and wind power for projects to commissioned by 30th June 2023. Declaration of trajectory for renewable purchase obligation up to the year 2022. Setting up of ultra-mega renewable energy parks to provide land and transmission on plug-and-play basis. Schemes such as Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Mahabhiyan, Solar Rooftop Phase 2 and 12,000 megawatt CPSU scheme Phase 2. Laying off new transmission lines and creating new substation capacity under green energy. Corridor scheme for evacuation of renewable power, notification of standards for deployment of solar photovoltaic system and devices, setting up of project development cell for attracting and facilitating investments, standard bidding guidelines for tariff-based competitive bidding process for procurement of power from grid-connected solar PV and wind projects wherein adequate provisions have been made to protect power purchase agreements. Government has issued orders that power shall be dispatched against letter of credit or advance payment to ensure timely payment by distribution licensee to the RE generators. Well, that's it in this edition of Question Hour. Thanks for watching us. Keep following us for more.
Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy.